Good morning, everyone. Ben here, and, well, we've got a few Senate elections that we're going to go ahead and look at. We're going to talk about four, but one of them I'm not even going to bother saying anything on it about the map, and we'll get to that one in just a second. Apologies for the air conditioning unit that's running. It just gets really hot down here in the south. Because, yeah, it gets hot and humid, and I'd rather not deal with that while I'm recording. Anyway, so we're going to talk first about Nevada, where we have a poll from late July that showed up from Suffolk University, and it's a reputable pollster. And it's not outside of where I would expect it to be. Really, I just wanted to mention this one is first one since April that shows Dean Heller with an advantage. Oh, fantastic. I can't tilt. Of course I can't. So, it's going to remain leans Democrat. I don't really consider this enough to change the outlook of the state, but it does kind of confirm that my low confidence in this prediction, or my low confidence in the state going blue. Essentially what the shades mean is the darker the shade, the more confident I am that it is going to go that way. So it's kind of like a confidence prediction. For example, actually, I probably should update Wisconsin just because I haven't seen anything showing otherwise. I think that's not an unreasonable thing to say, and yeah, I've already flipped Michigan to basically safe for Debbie Stabenow. But I thought this was hilarious that somebody, the Libertarian Party in New Mexico, had multiple pollsters poll for Gary Johnson, and oh boy, one of them even had some ahead. Oh boy, I'm not going to take that seriously. I'm going to keep New Mexico as safe blue, but I just thought that was hilarious. Anyway, so going to Tennessee, where we had the primary on Thursday, and I talked about this a little bit on stream. Marsha Blackburn obviously won by a massive amount, and Phil Bredesen also won by a heavy amount in his primary. The only difference is that Marsha Blackburn is that the Republicans had almost twice the turnout Democrats had. Now, that said, both parties had increased turnout compared to 6 years ago, but there was also a presidential election 6 years ago. I don't know. But in the general election 6 years ago, which again was also a presidential election, Democrats still didn't get the number of votes Republicans got alone in this year's primary. So I'm feeling a little bit more confident about calling Tennessee for Marsha Blackburn. We'll have to see what happens from now because polling still shows that Bredesen has an advantage, but I'm a little skeptical about that. Just based off of primary turnout, the history of the state, and I think all the fundamentals should point to this being leans Republican. Bredesen just happens to be a very good candidate for the state. So I'm going to continue rating it as leans Republican because I don't have a lot of confidence in that, and if polling does continue to indicate Phil Bredesen has an advantage, I will switch it back. But for now, I have to go with what the primaries have shown me and what the past history of the state shows me. I don't think that's too unreasonable a prediction. So now we move on to Texas, where people say, oh my God, look at this Texas Lyceum poll. Number one, look at the number of undecideds it has. Number two, I went into depth yesterday on stream about why I think that Texas Lyceum poll is inaccurate. They didn't do their likely voter tally based off of who the general voting demographic of Texas, which is much wider than the state as a whole. The state of Texas is actually majority non-white, but the voting population of the state is majority white. And it's a significant shift. It's not like 1 or 2 points change it. No, it is a significant shift. Said looking at Quinnipiac's poll, which is a little bit better about it, that's a little bit closer than I would have expected, but it's still within the margin of error of a 9-point lead for the Republican, which is what Trump had in Texas in 2016 in the general. And if we look at this Gravis marketing poll from early July, that's within that margin of error. That's about 9%. And we look at it, and this Lyceum poll is an outlier based off of not just July polling, which contains really 2 other polls, but all other polling for the race. This Texas Lyceum poll is an outlier, not the norm. So I don't think it's wrong to continue to classify this as likely Republican. So as it stands, the Republicans are expected to get a net gain of 1, but that can definitely change. There's been no new polling in Florida, no new polling in a lot of these places that in my mind would change my prediction. So that's what I'm calling it. This is what the Senate map would look like this is what the Senate would look like in 2019 for the 116th Congress. I think a lot of these seats are trying to remember which seats are going to be up in 2020. But yeah, so anyway, that's my map as of today. So I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a nice day. See you guys later. Bye.